Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. I was my mother's caregiver as she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. She passed sadly on 1/1/2020, and we started together for Sharon.com in her memory. Today, we have an incredible guest, somebody who I consider very close because we've been working in the front lines on a committee for Moving Day for Parkinson's Foundation. So I want to welcome Debra Flynn to the program. Welcome, Debra.
Thank you, George. It's great to be here.
Thanks. And I was really excited for this because the main goal is really to not just to talk about the event coming in a few weeks, actually closer than that, but really to commend you for all your hard work. You chair of the committee for Palm Beach County Moving Day Walk on behalf of the Parkinson's Foundation. I've been lucky enough to be a committee person, but seeing your leadership really brings a lot of hope and inspiration, not just to me, but to the whole community.
Well, thank you, George. That's really nice of you to say it. It takes a village to put these things together, though. So lots of other people, including you, have a lot to do with its success.
I appreciate it. Maybe we could get started by just telling us how did you get involved with this, not just the walk, but Parkinson's Foundation, and maybe a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2015, and it was quite a shock. My husband, Jim, and I, we thought we had a plan for the rest of our lives, and then the universe decided something else was going to happen. And after I got over the morning of the disease, like I was sad, I cried all the time, I was scared, and those were things I wasn't used to feeling. But over time, over the next 2 years, I decided that I was not going to let Parkinson's tell me what the rest of my life was going to be like. And we moved then from our home in Chicago to Florida. The weather here is a little better for me than the winters there. And I got involved in rock steady boxing. And it truly was the thing that turned my whole attitude around about this disease. So I joined rock steady boxing. Fast forward, I got involved in Moving Day, actually in Chicago. I go back there every year to see my movement disorder specialist. So I did the walk in Chicago, and when I got back home to Florida, we got involved in the walks here, and that's how I first got introduced to the Parkinson's Foundation. And I decided that my mission was going to be to get as involved with the Parkinson's Foundation as possible as a way to advocate for myself and all of my fellow people with Parkinson's disease.
I think you not only motivate me, but your story is inspiring. I see you out there fighting and running around. I don't even know how you do it some days. Maybe you could talk other. I mean, obviously I don't know if I hide it well, but I don't even notice sometime when we meet that you're still struggling. How do you tell other people listening, inspire them? But how do you handle so many? I mean, being a chair of a committee is not an easy task. I don't want to discourage people because I want everyone to get involved in their community and join the committees, be a chair, because you're making such an incredible difference. But how do you kind of still be able to fight? And I see you running around nonstop, but still dealing with the diagnosis.
Yeah, I would say, George, that well, there's two things that are at play here. And the first is many people don't realize that about 80% of what the disease is all about is not evident to the human eye. It's all going on inside. And the other 20% is, the gait problems, the tremors, the balance issues. Those are the things people see. So when they see my handshake, I can tell people are looking at my hand shaking, and I think to myself, okay, I can just ignore this, or I can say, I have Parkinson's disease, and that's what's going on. And then when I tell people that, they say to me, oh my God, you look great. But they don't know about the 80% that's going on inside, you know, the sleep deprivation, the constipation, the drooling, the constant pain that you're in when you wake up because your muscles are so stiff. And so that's the first thing at play, you know, 80% people don't see. And then the other thing at play is just a fierce determination that I am not going to let this thing beat me. And I firmly believe that movement is what 8 years later is the reason I'm still walking around pretty normally, and I don't appear to have as many issues with the disease as I do, if that makes sense.
It does, and that's what keeps me going, because there's many days, the Parkinson's community is, unfortunately, I lost my mother, as you know, has opened their arms to me, and really, I feel like family. And when I see anyone, including you, struggle, there's many nights I don't sleep with you because I'm thinking about ways to end this disease. And I mean, here we are in a beautiful Florida, sunny Saturday morning, fighting for a cure. Even last night, late at night, I think 10 p.m., I was still doing podcasts on Friday night when other people might not be, they might be sleeping out, having partying and things, but there's so much more important things like this disease that we have to end. So I appreciate, again, all you do. I'd like to concentrate now as to why a big purpose we're here on moving day. So I'm going to share a little bit of information. We can discuss it. And then at the after that, I do want to head back to talk a little bit about more on you and your support and your, you know, just everyday battle. But though I feel you're definitely winning, and we're going to win this together. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to share the screen. Hopefully you can also see this. But so basically, everyone, this is the Moving Day website. This is for Palm Beach. You can also click on Parkinson's Moving Day likely and see your own city and town. It's coming to a theater near you also. But if you want to, I don't know if you can see this, I can talk about it. If you want to maybe talk about what Moving Day is, Hour Walk, what date it says it here. But if everyone out there wants to join us live, we'll be out there. I'll be out there passing out free bands in memory of my mother. You'll meet Debra and the incredible staff, volunteers, and just I'm so excited to be a part of this event. Maybe you can, Debra, tell us a little bit more about it as I scroll a little bit.
Sure. Moving Day is, as it says, it's a celebration of movement, and movement is and has been shown and proven to help stop the progression of Parkinson's disease. So Moving Day is really a celebration of the Parkinson's community and our constant encouragement to ourselves and other people with Parkinson's to keep moving.
Thank you. And then you can keep, I'm just going to show everyone as we go. Look at how amazing Debra is. Almost $10,000 donated.
I know.
I'm all here at the lonely at the bottom, but that was our family that donated. We have to have a podcast on fundraising, but today, hopefully everybody listening can join in. Feel free to donate on Debra's team. You don't have to donate on mine because I'm just there for participant, but I do want everyone to support Debra and also the Parkinson's Foundation, but specifically South Florida. If you go to movingdaywalk.org, that's where you can locate your own city. But please, again, this is really geared more towards our walking day here in Palm Beach coming up on Sunday, April 7th. And you'll actually see it. I always feel we were lucky enough to meet it many times, but lately at the Michael J. Fox IQ event, and I felt like everybody there, including you, were celebrities because you're all somebody I see a lot more than even my own family online every day. And when I see such inspiring people live, it's just such a different feeling than just virtual. So I just love being at a live event, especially a walk. I mean, at the walk, you'll be able to speak to people in the community. You'll be able to participate in different fun games. You'll be able to walk in memory of your loved one. I'll be walking in memory of my mother, Sharon. The goal is $60,000, but hopefully we can break even that with this podcast. And please share this podcast around the world. we don't get anything from this except that we want to advocate awareness for Parkinson's disease and to end it through a cure. So there's 25 teams, which is incredible. We only have 8 days. Today, 3/30/2024. So you all have time to still chip in. Even $1 is great. I always say even a quarter, because if everybody out there in the world donated a quarter, man, we would end this disease, I hope, or at least we would have a big factor. So Debra, maybe you can tell us even how incredible, I don't know how you could tell some secrets maybe on your fundraising, and maybe also a message to everybody listening today.
George, I attribute all of this incredible fundraising success to my family and my friends who have been the rock and the support of me over the last 8 years. And I contact everybody about 2 months before moving day. And I contact probably over 100 people in my contact list of friends and former colleagues, people I worked with 10 years ago. I keep in touch with, and I send them all a notice. I tell them about moving day and the incredible celebration that it is, and the opportunity, most important, to raise money for a cure, because almost all of this will go towards research or building resources to help make living with Parkinson's a little easier. And if I could just give you one example, the foundation, the Parkinson's Foundation, has created an incredible network of centers of excellence. And they're all over the country. And they work hard with these movement disorder specialty practices to build this center of excellence network. And it's so important to have a qualified movement disorder specialist when you have this disease, because they are neurologists who are specifically trained in the treating of Parkinson's. They're very involved in research and so forth. And then there's the incredible amount of publications, webinars, seminars that the foundation puts together to advocate for the community and to educate the people what Parkinson's is all about, because it's not just about tremors.
Yeah, it's amazing. Unfortunately, the misconceptions. I try to do a lot of podcasts or go on to others who don't have Parkinson's and people who are not aware, because I feel we need everybody on board to end this disease. Here's just an example, everyone. You can go to the main page, click on any person you'd like, and you can see a little bit about the moving day. It's the fight to beat Parkinson's. We've united to raise awareness and funds, as Debra mentioned, for the Parkinson's Foundation Moving Day Walk. So I recommend, again, to just kind of look at the event page, go to any individual. And Debra also mentioned how Rock Steady Boxing is a sponsor. I was honored enough to interview the individual in charge of the entire organization the other day, and I'm trying to get hopefully him on a podcast. But it's incredible how we've really learned so much and advanced in research, and learned that moving is literally one of the ways to not stop the disease, but to slow the progression. I always tell individuals, because I go on so many shows, that no, they don't have anything to do with Parkinson's, they're not even aware. And if we just reach one person in every show, then we've changed the world. So that's very important to understand that moving is one of the essential ways to almost not stop again, but at least decrease the high intensity and speed of progression of Parkinson's disease.
You know, my friend, when I was first diagnosed, I sat down with each one of my friends and family members, and I told them about the diagnosis and what it could potentially mean for Jim, my husband, and me for the rest of our lives. And my friend, Julie Goodman, said to me, well then, darn it, keep on moving. And so I have adopted keep on moving as my mantra. And every single one of my emails that goes out under my name, hashtag keep on moving. And people have asked me, what does that mean on your, when you send me an email, I see keep on moving. What does that mean? And I take the opportunity to tell them, oh, I have Parkinson's disease, and it's, this is what the disease is about, and moving has been shown to slow the progression. And it's amazing to me how many people have Parkinson's disease who I meet out there in the world, and yet so many people don't even know anything about the disease. They don't know it's neurological. They think it's an autoimmune disease, or they think it's something like MS. And there's a lot of just education that needs to be done. And Moving Day, I think, is an opportunity to help educate the community.
Yeah, it's one troubling thing, but positive, where we have so many people who might be unaware, but they're, unfortunately, I've learned that they might not have Parkinson's, maybe not a loved one, but all of a sudden this year, out of nowhere, their mailman or the truck driver or the local, grocery store, all individuals who now have Parkinson's. So in a way, it's very disheartening, but also sadly positive, because now people are making themselves more aware through people they friends with, community members. And that's why I think that the walk is so important, because it's bringing people out of the house, where, because of unfortunately COVID, we couldn't do this for some time.
Yeah.
I did the virtual with my wife, and we have, we're moving and things, but that's not, the same as being there. Even at the recent IQ event, seeing all those incredible warriors, Parkinson's fighters come up to me, just thank us, and we all cried together, which, as you know, I'm 6'2", 200-pound police, but it fall apart when we talk about this, because I don't want anyone to go through, unfortunately, what my family and my mother did. We have to end this disease. One other area that you mentioned, which is very important, is the community. So you'll see here also, everyone, if you go to movingdaywalk.org and events, and you'll see Palm Beach. But the beautiful thing is you get to learn. Every person at this event is not just a person, they're actually somebody who's affected by Parkinson's. So we'll have incredible doctors there speaking. This one, I hope, if I remember, because it'll be so busy, you have to tell me to go speak to me, because I really would like to speak to her, because unfortunately, usually we have ice cream and ices at these events for the kids, but this person's actually somebody, also a caregiver, fighting. And I have to, again, so much stuff will be going on that day. I hope I remember, because I don't usually eat ice cream, but I would love to meet Emmy and talk to her. But that's what this is about, being able to meet individuals in the community for Parkinson's awareness. And this lovely lady here is Debra. So, and you can read more also about her. In a minute, we'll shift a little to your background and just a little bit more fun I try to have at the end of all the podcasts, and learn a little bit more about you. But you can see Debra was announced to be the Moving Day chair, and has done an incredible job raising so much money that I don't even still know how, because I can't figure out how to do it. But you can also look at more here, everyone listening. Please share this again, what Moving Day is, about the Parkinson's Foundation, and what the point, why would you want to donate? Well, they answer all these very critical areas on these websites. So let me just stop sharing and get back to this. So did you have any other areas you wanted to touch on? I mean, we said the date, but it's so important that everybody, either if you could donate even a little amount to Deborah and the South Florida chapter through that link I shared, and I'll share it again, or come live and attend. We'll be going to the Michael J. Fox Foundation Unity Walk. Usually I can't travel due to my own back issues, but I thought it would be important because it's the 30th year anniversary. But having something, so many events this month, Parkinson's Awareness Month in South Florida, means the world to me. Because as you know, Deborah, unfortunately, we kind of have just, one big walk a year, but we do need more. And with everyone donating and supporting this event, we can definitely have more events in the area. So if you had any more areas on this walk, this is your time to take it away. And then I just want to shift a little more about you.
Okay. Well, the walk is next Sunday, April 7th, and the activities start at 9 o'clock. You can register online using the link that George has shared with you. And it's at Okehely Park in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's easily accessible from I-95. So it doesn't matter where you live in South Florida on the East Coast. It's an hour's drive away at the most from most major towns and cities along the coast. So I really encourage everybody to get out there. It's so much fun. We have exercise demonstrations. We'll have a drum circle. We have the ice cream truck. We have a kids zone where kids will have beach balls and posters and magic markers. And we have big dog bowls full of water. So
I might need that.
yeah, me too. It's just a great way to get out there and have a good time on a Sunday morning in beautiful South Florida and do something really good for a disease that affects more and more of us every single day.
I appreciate it, and I also encourage everyone to come out and meet us just for just for fun. We'll get a nice picture together and definitely share some incredible journeys and stories. But if you don't want to see me, you can definitely come for the weather because we just happen to be in the best weather, I think, of the year. I don't want to jinx it. Last year we met at the
Yeah.
event. We had a sad day with the not just rain. It seemed like a tornado, hurricane. I felt like we were in the Wizard of Oz, but the bad part. So this
Yeah,
year,
that's right.
I'm confident this time in April is perfect because again, everyone out there, if you're not aware, it's actually Parkinson's Awareness Month. I think that's important, not to really acknowledge nationally, but to me, as you also, Deborah, know, every day of every minute of every second of every month of the year is a Parkinson's Awareness Month to me. So, it's just a nice way to get the whole community involved, but we're still going to fight after April ends. So this will
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
end
right.
there. But so now I want to thank you all again for listening on the walk, because that's really the intention today to help promote it, get more, even if we get one more person out there listening, please share this. Again, it's really for the best cause there is. We don't accept any money for ourselves. We don't take anything. That's not why we're here. I hate that I have to always repeat that, but that's the truth. And the next thing, kind of shift a little bit more about you until we wrap up. What is these are Barbara Walter moments, so don't. I've already made people. I know that's not the intent. It's
Oh God, now I'm nervous,
you're
George.
allowed to decline. I'm attorney, but we're not here under. This is not us. Okay. What is one moment or the most memorable moment that stands out throughout a lot of your work in awareness that you could share besides the walk, obviously, or you could talk about that, but one memorable moment.
One memorable moment of advocacy, huh?
Yeah, if you can. We could skip it and go to the next one and come back. It's up to
Yeah, let's come back to that
you.
one because
What's
there's
the-
so many moments that occurred to me. So let's go on.
I heard someone in your background, but this might answer this question, but who helps you during times of struggle? I was a caregiver, as you know, and maybe what tips could you give those listening who are caregivers for someone in the family supporting somebody, even though you're so strong in my view that we see, obviously you're still going through the diagnosis, but who's your, support going through these tough times?
That would be the person I'm married to, Jim Flynn, who stands by me through all of this. It is just an incredible rock in my life, and that's how I get up every day.
No, I appreciate sharing that. And like I was, I guess, my mother's rock, but she was also mine through some of the tough times. As you know, my book hopefully will show up in April out there, and it's going to talk about the tougher times. I always say I'm not looking to sell it because some of it might be tough to read, but it takes right into the days of the good times, the ugly and the bad. But you have to have that support. And when my mother passed, my wife took over that role. I wouldn't be able to even talk today and do all the stuff I do if it wasn't for my wife. And I think everybody, should commend all the caregivers out there because we're all a team in this, even though my own health, everyone says you got to take care of your own health first, but I didn't follow that rule. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Let's try and get to let me look for the more happier moments.
Okay.
I mean, you already are part of this, but how do you think we can better promote, even in South Florida, Parkinson's awareness in addition to the walk? Do you think there's anything all year round we can do?
Well, I think there's a lot we could do first as individuals, and doing these kinds of things that you do, George, and all the touch points you have, not just here locally, but around the globe, uh, is so important to raising awareness and getting people involved and feeling good about helping find a cure for this disease. So I think that's the number one way to do it, is just to talk about it. I am no longer embarrassed to tell people I have Parkinson's disease. When I go back home to Chicago once a year to see my movement disorder specialist at Rush University Hospital, I come back home and I prepare an email and I send it to my family and friends and say, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to need help. And anything, you want to do to contribute and support would be great. And people tell me all the time, that takes a lot of courage to talk about publicly and openly what's going on in your life. And so I would say to the people with Parkinson's and their caregivers, find the courage to talk about what you're going through, how this disease impacts you, and don't be afraid to ask for help. As a type A personality who's very self-sufficient and a very strong personality, it's hard for me to say I need help, but I'm learning my limitations and I'm learning not to be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, my mother was had it for 15 years, but was very independent. She lived alone, divorced, sacrificed her life really, so her career and as a teacher, so that I could be the man I am today. But she never shared it. I didn't even know what Parkinson's was till the last 4 years when I had to rush over to the house late at night due to complications. Who knows what happened after that? It was all downhill the last 4 years, but she just didn't want the family to be burdened, which I didn't like, because if I had known, maybe we could have had her do, but she exercised a lot and she's very healthy. So we can't really, look back now. But I just want everyone to know that Deborah works tirelessly behind the scenes. So she doesn't want any of this. She doesn't want attention. I begged her to come on today because I think it would be important to not just acknowledge her. If I have an award, it's right here. I'd hand it to you during this. But she really does so much. I mean, I'm on a lot of these calls. Unfortunately, sometimes I'm at the doctor with my back and in the field in law enforcement or law, but every time there's a meeting, Deborah's the first one there. We're always touching base. She has so many things planned that checks off the list. Like, you sound just like me. You need to go to law school soon. But it's just incredible that even though, again, you're a fighter and a warrior, a person, warrior, you're still out there on the front lines doing more than many people could, would, or maybe should, but it's going to all come together next Sunday, and I can't wait to see it. But she's on these meetings, like with the list saying that this, and I'm going to do this, and she gets it done. And look at the numbers are incredible of the donations that you've been able to raise. So that's just to commend you, and to everyone out there to know this is not easy. I don't think putting walks together is easy. Togetherforsharon.com. We started it, just thought 2 people would see it. We've had over 35,000 people see the website, but I don't really want to be a foundation because I just like being me. And a son, unfortunately, lost their loved one, a mother, and best friend due to the disease. But putting a walk together, something, if I ever do start a foundation, we'll be calling you to run them all the walks. Sure you don't want.
I'm going to be way too busy, George. I'm
And
not going to be able to do that.
we'll hope you at least add it because we need
No,
your.
I'm kidding.
The good
It's an
thing is that.
incredible,
Yeah.
it's an incredible amount of work. I had no idea. I've never put a large event together before. And it is an incredible amount of work,
I
but
just
it's
don't.
very rewarding.
Yeah, I don't think people, I guess, they come, and it's amazing. I'm glad they do, but they don't realize all the hours and the behind the scenes and the phone calls and the chairs and Sophia and, everybody involved and Karen and there's some great people also supporting.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
great. So again, everyone try to come out and, meet all these celebrities in person. And I love getting pictures with everyone because it's unfortunate we only get together once a year sometime, but it's just such a inspiring moment and walking for an incredible cause and a memory. One of the areas I'm focusing now today is people like me, caregivers who lost loved ones, because unfortunately there might be 10 million people out there who lost a loved one due to this disease. And
Yeah.
I always think we still have a say. My mother still has a voice and she still matters. So coming to the walk, supporting the South Florida chapter in Deborah will help you also remember your loved one. And we'll even, some of us have signs, pictures. I'll be out there with my mother's photo. and just it's amazing just to hear the stories. Just to move a few more areas. If you were asked, this one's tough too. You ready? If you were asked, and I don't give it to you on purpose before, I've been asked, but if you were asked to write a script to a movie about your life story, what would you call it? You can always, we'll have to have you submit. You're allowed to submit your answer afterwards.
Okay, what would I call it? I guess I would call it, well, I don't know, George. It would be,
How about what if there's another?
warrior,
I love it.
warrior.
That's perfect. That's good.
That's it, warrior.
What are some things you might not be planning this far ahead because we have a big day coming, but what are some of your plans after the walk to do? Just, I know the vacation first and then take a little break. And then I know you're going to be like me, you're going to be out there fighting again. So do you have anything future goals planned, or are you just waiting to see after the walk what's next?
Yeah, so I have a couple things going on. I'm on a committee for the national, the Parkinson's Foundation national team. I'm a grant reviewer. So people out there who want to put together programs to help people with Parkinson's, like, you know, dance therapy or yoga for Parkinson's, etc., they submit requests for a grant from the Parkinson's Foundation. I'm reviewing those grants and making recommendations to the national team about that. And then the other thing, two other things I have going on, I'm going to be applying for the position on the advisory team to the National Foundation. And then the other thing I have going on is I've agreed to be on the board for the Southeast Florida chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation.
Congratulations.
So thanks. I've got a few things going on there.
No, it's amazing. Hope to, keep me up to date on all that. I'd love to share
I
it
will.
for every step. And then the last question is, if you could leave the Parkinson's community today with some words of encouragement, what would they be?
Fight, fight, fight.
That's the best way to say that, and I appreciate it. And also remember, everyone, please go to movingdaywalk.org/event/moving-day-palm-beach. But if you just search Palm Beach, you'll find it. It's a lot of dashes. They need to gonna probably grow. But I just want to thank you, Deborah. We consider you family. And the great thing is I'll see you soon. I haven't said that to any of my guests here before, which was the first. So just again, want to thank you. We send, love to you and your family. And I usually end every podcast or talk with a few statements. Before I do that, did you have anything else before we conclude today?
I do have one more thing I'd like to say, George, and that is when you first find out you have this disease, it feels like somebody just hauled up and punched you in your gut. And it's surprising, it's scary because nobody knows how fast it will progress. Nobody knows none of us know what tomorrow is going to look like. You could, wake up and you can't move your fingers, or you're losing your balance. So it's a very scary diagnosis. And when I first found out, I cried a lot. I did a lot of research, etc. And now 8 years later, I can tell you this: Parkinson's is still scary. And as you know, I still tear up about the support I get and how it feels. But I've also learned that Parkinson's is a gift in the way that I have met some of the most incredible people over the last 8 years. Yourself, for example, everybody in my Rock Steady boxing program, numerous people on the Parkinson's Foundation board, and locally and nationally, people at the Michael Fox Foundation. It's incredible. So there is a silver lining to this disease, and that is the people like you who support us, who give us a reason to get up and fight every day. And so I just want to thank you and all of the incredible people I've met in my short journey with this disease.
I appreciate the words and I send them right back to you. Unfortunately, out of the darkness comes the light. And I always say it's
Yeah,
still a fight left in all of us. And in my mother's memory, you know, if you met her, she would say, George, don't waste your time, stay with your family. But she didn't raise me to just sit back and move on. So that's why we keep fighting until there's no more disease anymore ever again. So I just want to again thank you and send this message to Debra's family, to you, and to everyone listening today. We love you, we support you, we care a lot about you, and you're never alone. I, alongside with Debra, will advocate for you, and together our voices are so much stronger. And I always say I'm just getting started because even though we're not getting started, we just every day meet someone like you, Debra, and all those become like family in the Parkinson's community. All the people who are struggling diagnosed today, their caregivers, and in memory of all the caregivers still out there, unfortunately lost their battle with their loved one. We have to just keep fighting on. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing you soon, and I hope everyone can go to the Moving Day site. I'll share it again and donate even a quarter, a dollar, anything to help fight the end to this disease. And I'd rather you'd show up and join us, and we'll give pictures, and they're all free. I'm not sure you don't have to donate. So anyway.
that's right. Come out and walk, everybody.
Well, I want to thank you again. Thank everyone out there. We both send our love. So thank you for your support, and we send it right back to you. This has been another episode of Q&A with Sharon's son, George. And just stay tuned. Keep listening. We're going to keep loving. We're going to keep fighting. And we, again, love you all. And you're never alone in this fight. Thank you again.
Thank you, George.